Good day, everyone. Zusi here from Double GDP, and this is the CSM Sprint updates. So today I'm going to start talking about the HR program. So the highlight of this sprint will be that we recruited the second hacker in residence for this March cohort. We have started onboarding the 2 hackers for the same cohort, and we are having a webinar on Zoom this Thursday about the program, and 10 people so far have registered. The challenges of this sprint have been to have the houses ready on time for the start of the program, but we do have an alternative solution, which is to host the 2 hackers in a short-let apartment for 1 week. So the main output of this sprint have been the Instagram and Facebook contents. And my objectives for next sprint is to have the 2 hackers move into Nkwashi by March 26th, to recruit the 4 hackers for April cohort, as well as to purchase all the remaining equipment necessary for the first cohort of the HR program. So now looking at the AIR program, the main highlight of this sprint would be that Chena is starting a physical art gallery, which is amazing news since the AIR program will gain more traction and drive more interest. The second highlight would be that a lifestyle artist moved into Nkwashi. His name is Mishak. The challenges of this sprint is that the artists need more space, but of course it will be sorted by the end of this month as the prefabs would be ready. The outputs of this sprint would be social media content on Instagram and Facebook, as well as the newsletters. And my objectives for next sprint is to have the artists move into the prefabs, as well as to align on a target number of inspired residents for value measurements. So over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Zusi. I will be taking you through my sprint update. Let me just share my screen. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining my sprint update. I'll kick us off as usual with our voice of the client feedback. So we had our interviewee who finally responded to comments that he was receiving on his article. That's Mr. Kanswe. So he said, thank you for encouragement, future neighbors. One thing for sure is nothing is impossible if you're willing to progress. Nkwashi is our dream town, and my family and I have fallen in love with this place. So it was really great to kind of see that he had finally seen those comments and he responded to the feedback that he was receiving from everyone commenting on the article. And yeah, everyone was encouraged. The second voice of the client is he commented on the Tanzanite article. So he saw this as a great investment of opportunity of a lifetime. And being part of an annuity plan in our own local Macau is the thing dreams are made of. So very good, very interesting perspective there from this gentleman who commented on the Tanzanite article. And then concerning customer support and operations, we have been procuring majority of the HIR equipment this past week, which went pretty well. We finally spoke to the sales consultants on what their final offer would be if they were interested in leaving our site and they would like to receive an incentive. Also, we're working with Royal Poniso just to ensure that we have proper backup power at the main house that will be completed very soon. And just also to ensure that we also have a follow-up meeting with the gentleman who most likely be providing this solar power to us. So just making sure that everything is aligned there. Also did a follow-up meeting with the site manager as well and the lead guard at the gate just to find out exactly why there has been a little bit of a drop in terms of recordings. So working with the lead guard to find out their work schedule and just kind of physically track what is happening at the gate as well. And also objectives for our next sprint will be working with operations managers just to coordinate on whether clients would be willing to have their completion of their construction invested in by double GTP. So we've already reached out to one person and we're just waiting to hear back her feedback on this proposal. And also we'll be creating a budget around sales consultants living at site. And also be working with the guards physically very soon on any issues they may be facing at the gate since the NRC issue was raised. So this is my sprint update. I'll forward it on to Penny.
Thank you, Mtale. I'll just share my screen here real quick. All right, so some general sprint updates from the previous sprint. Just once it loads. All right, there. So some highlights of this sprint. We went to a new site that was allocated for the new prefabs, for the new site that was allocated for the prefabs rather. The outputs of this sprint, we purchased some major items for the first cohort of the HIR, which Mutale spoke about. Also began working on some marketing material for the upcoming rewards program that Doreen has been speaking about previously, but also might highlight in this sprint, and also helped Nkwashi run some media campaigns for a new product via the app, which is the Tanzanite, basically. Some challenges of this sprint: getting through paperwork and communicating with suppliers for the prefabs. We've spent more time doing that, more time than expected, having to go through that particular phase of the transaction. And then also a few hurdles around the mode of payments for the hackers' laptops, which the hackers will be beginning this week, and we're hoping to have the laptops in by the end of this week. But because of mode of payments, Zambian banks not being, recognized by certain institutions back in the States, it's been a little bit of a challenge. Goals for the upcoming sprint: create more programs to accelerate construction at Nkwashi. And this is basically or mostly around the people that have had their building permits approved, trying to see how we can engage them and see how we can move forward to the next phase of construction. Finalize on some of the materials that are needed for the foundation, site prepping, and also just have the prefabs delivered on site. Still trying to figure out how we can continue with the client feedback calls, also because we're working with products to see how we can either come together and continue with client feedback calls, because they also want to, or the product side of Double GDP wants to have some conversations with a few clients. So we're trying to see how we can work that. Finalizing, obviously, setting up the HIR participants and all the equipment that's needed, even though we bought most of it last week. And finally, also finalizing on the on producing the marketing collateral for the rewards program that's coming up. And that's my update. And yeah, I think we're done for now. Thank you.